Now we move on to Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, a rarity among good films in that it left me flatly confused. With the acting, cinematography, humor, and sense of wonderment all taken to such a high standard, how could the plot be so unmotivated? The script is just jam-packed full of MacGuffins. A MacGuffin is something, or anything essentially, that advances the plot but otherwise has no relevance to the story. Some narratives, AI for instance, can draw competently upon one MacGuffin, but I counted 5 in the latest Harry Potter movie. Before I share them with you, let me warn you that there are a few slight spoilers coming up, but nothing major. To start with, Draco Malfoy, Harry's nemesis, was appointed as Voldemort's heir. What does this entail? We don't find out until the climax. See? Malfoy's position motivates the plot, but is not readily explained. Professor Snape's unbreakable vow is another MacGuffin. What has Snape agreed to? Again, we don't find out until the climax. The Half-Blood Prince's potion manual sets the groundwork for a rather pointless reveal at the end of the movie, but until then exists only as a plot convenience to give Harry an edge in class. The Vanishing Cabinet comes into play from the beginning, but the significance of this device is not explained until, once again, the conclusion. But the biggest MacGuffin of them all would be Professor Slugworth. Dumbledore assigns Harry the job of getting to know Slugworth and extracting a vital memory from the man's head. This occupies Harry and his friends for almost 2/3 of the movie, but it takes just as long for the audience to learn why Dumbledore needs the memory. See where I'm going with this? The acquisition of Slugworth's memory motivates the plot, but is not explained for most of the movie. Every other aspect of Harry Potter 6 was fantastic, but the script felt half-baked. If anything, Harry Potter 6 was the most frustrating good movie in years. And the final movie on my list is New Moon. No, I'm not joking. At the risk of losing my man cred, I liked New Moon. In fact, I liked it a great deal. This film had lush cinematography, poor CGI notwithstanding, and Kristen Stewart has proven herself to be a fine actress once again. New Moon was actually a welcome diversion from the romantic interactions of the saga, as I was never sold on Bella and Edward's relationship. Stewart's grief over the breakup was both convincing and discomforting, and I enjoyed watching her as she got to know the improbably buff Jacob Black. Striking up a friendship with the Quillette werewolves, Bella gradually heals her emotional wounds through this bond, and does so in a very realistic way. This part of the narrative, which takes up a good portion of the film, is a tender, easygoing segment that I think many people underestimate. At the same time, I was acutely aware that Edward just isn't good for Bella. Bella constantly risks being eaten by her boyfriend's family and is risking her life just to see hallucinations of Edward. I was yearning for Bella to get over it and settle down with Jacob, but all of a sudden she descends into her familiar self-destructive patterns. By the way, my favorite scene depicted Victoria, Emily Levachet, an evil vampire, sprinting and jumping through the woods with Matrix-like agility as she is pursued by a pack of werewolves. That scene was awesome, and I look forward to seeing how Bryce Dallas Howard handles the role in June of 2010. New Moon wasn't a great movie, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. As unlikely as it sounds, New Moon is one of my favorite movies of 2009. So there you have it, my list of the top 4 films of 2009, with a super duper honorable mention for Whippet. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to reading all of your comments. I have a few films I'd like to see this year, including Postgrad, Alice in Wonderland, and Legion, which looks like a blast. Until then, stay tuned, and I must wish you all a very happy new year. Cheers!